Je vais m'en charger.
Hello, everyone. Today, we are talking Tekken.
Yes.
Tekken talking, whatever.
Yes.
Don and I played Tekken 8 recently. Had a good, 3 hours or something like that with the game.
Generous play session. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Can we say where it was? Not specifically, but the fact that we were on top of a skyscraper playing Tekken 8.
We were on top of a building. I wouldn't call it a skyscraper.
Well, it was in the
particularly
realm of skyscraper.
But we were downtown.
Yeah.
There were a lot of taller buildings all around us. Harada-san was there. Michael Murray was there.
Yeah.
Some other people from the team were there. They had the Tekken guy in the cosplay there.
They went all out 100%. It was an amazing presentation. It was like playing Tekken in a Tekken arena. And so it was very high profile.
So you may be looking at us. Well, Don plays Mortal Kombat. You're like, your Bloodworth doesn't play fighting. It's like I used to play a lot. I wrote strategies for Killer Instinct back in the day.
Oh yeah.
But that's actually one of the core things that we had talked to them about and wanted to talk about. Check out our interview as well when this goes up. But yeah, just like that. It's even a little bit in the arcade mode that they have there. That this idea that fighting games are supposed to be fun for everybody. It's not just for the 1 to 5% that are going to go pro at it.
Absolutely, yeah. The accessibility, they want to make a big part of it, to just the lay audience to be able to have some fun.
Yeah.
And also, I think there's a large percentage of people that they're trying to reach that were hardcore Tekken fans back in the day that are ready to jump back on board after sort of being casual in the last few sessions, which I would definitely qualify in that category,
And I, to kind of get a little bit of my bearings, I went through and I played through that Tekken 7 story mode.
Oh, nice.
The weekend before we did this, so it was nice. If you remember that final battle of the story mode, the first battle of Tekken 8 story mode is kind of like a mirror to it. So it's pretty cool where you start off. But I will say that having done that back to back, they've done a huge step up on the story and the cinematics and everything, the presentation of this game, for sure.
Yeah, the presentation was kind of what I was expecting, which was top notch, is how I would describe it. It was over the top. I mean, they're talking about this being on Unreal Engine 5, right? So it was a visual feast. I mean, it looked very nice. And yeah, the production values on the story mode, I mean, we just saw the beginning, but it seemed right there with Mortal Kombat, essentially, which is kind of the gold standard right now in fighting games, campaign sort of modes.
Yeah, you kind of get little cutaways to other people in various regions of the world, as you always kind of have with Tekken. This is focusing on Jin Kazama.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because we played the first 4 chapters, and every one, even though we saw a lot of other characters, we were always playing as Jin.
Yeah.
In those story chapters. Trying to figure out how to take down Kazuya.
It's a great dynamic, great setup. Well, that's one of the interesting things, which I didn't know, actually. This is the longest running continuous story line in gaming.
World record,
gaming, period. So you're saying, wow, there's a lot going into this, right? Kind of baggage, but it's not the case. Where this game starts the story off is just a very good, intriguing setup that you don't need to even know a lot about what's happened before to be invested in Jin and the story with.
And they didn't even let us capture any of the story either. They're wanting to avoid spoilers. We're being somewhat vague too. The one thing I will say though is Tekken 7. It was all about these big crazy battles and geopolitical things, and there was a point where Heihachi was I'm going to restart the tournament, the Iron Fist tournament, but never really happened.
Yeah.
But in this, it happens pretty early on. The tournament is back.
Yes.
There are people from around the world fighting in the tournament. So you have the big arenas, the kind of WWE style, flashy presentation and all of that.
Yeah.
For some of the chapters in this game. So that does, come back into the limelight for sure.
Yeah, the tournament is a good setup, and the stakes are as high as they can be in terms of story.
Yeah.
Line.
Now, after that, where we were able to start capturing, there is a secondary big single-player story mode that's not really the story of Tekken so much as it's you create this avatar. This is called Arcade Quest.
Yeah, I like this.
And you create this little avatar and you're going like from like arcade to arcade, like playing Tekken 8 against other, CPU avatars.
Yeah, they specifically said they wanted to like recreate that vibe of the old, classic 90s arcades when you could just walk in with or without a group of friends, find some challengers, a lot of the dynamic that would happen in arcades. So it's a cool little setup. It seems to be like they've done a pretty good job.
Yeah, and there you get to choose who you're gonna challenge. You get to pick your own character in there.
Have sort of like mini tournaments even
in
there and
there's tournaments as part of it to like because you got to rise up the ranks, and then once you rise up the ranks enough, then you'll unlock another arcade to go to, another region.
Epic moment where you're like, defeat your avatar's like defeated someone or whatever, and it backs off, and you see like in the arcade someone looming, a future opponent, just like staring you down.
You guys don't take this seriously enough. This is just a bunch of scrubs in this arcade.
From another arcade dropping in. Yeah, it's very good.
And then what's also nice about this too, as we were talking about them like trying to like make this more accessible for people, is you have like two options in terms of like how you approach this mode that have more or less, different varied tutorials. Yeah. So you can go like full tutorial mode. It'll teach you everything that you need to know about the basics and all that. Or you can go with like a little bit more of a limited approach to just sort of like focus on the new things that are in Tekken 8. Mm-hmm. And let's kind of talk about some of those things systematically.
Yeah.
One of them is called special style.
Yeah.
So the basics, if you're familiar with Tekken, it's like, like basically all the face buttons correspond to, left
limbs,
hand, right hand, left foot, right foot, and then you combine them to do different types of moves and throws and stuff. When you hit L1, that swaps you into special style.
Yeah.
And that essentially changes what all those buttons do. So then the square button are now specialty moves that you do. The triangle button lets you launch somebody and start an air combo and start juggling them.
Just mash that triangle, yeah.
The X button is what they call power crush, which is good for a counterattack. You see somebody coming at you, you hit the X cross button and hit a power crush. And then the circle button is used for the low attacks and throws. And then they put those... When you hit it, you also have those up on screen as well.
Little HUD, pops up. Yeah. So as a quick reference guide, So that makes it instantly accessible for anyone.
Yeah,
really,
and that's another thing that's nice with the Arcade Quest is when you're like learning the ropes, like they will put up like 4 different little things on screen. So it's like, okay, I want to try to do that move. So rather than like constantly going up to the move list, pausing over and over again, it's like, okay, these are the things I want to focus on in this fight. Hopefully, if we dig deeper, hopefully there's like a mode where you can like actually pin those yourself. That would be nice.
I did see that.
You did see that?
Yeah, you can customize your little mini menu. So you can. I think you can only select 4 things, but they just stay on your HUD then. So if you're in special style, you can assign those moves that you just want to stay visible. So quick reference guide right there, which is a nice touch. And then it's nice to just be able to toggle in and out of it. Yeah. Although I forgot about it, so I really didn't get to use it very much. But you said you got to try it and it felt good.
Yeah. Toggling back and forth. Yeah, I think definitely helps it because. It's like you do want to have like your basic moves available, but then swap in and use some of those other things.
Yeah.
Is a little, especially if you're like messing around and still learning characters and hopping to a new character. That way, you don't have to go in and memorize like every little combo or whatever. Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, for swapping around because there's 32 characters just to start off with, right? So
we played a lot of. We did some verses in there as
jumping
well.
around to some of the different characters is like drastically different. It's very This game is grounded in sort of. Even though it's fantastical in many ways, it's grounded in real martial arts styles and everything, and they really wanted a lot of that to be. They always have wanted that to be authentic. So. Yeah, swapping out between styles sometimes if you just want to get a quick taste for like, am I going to like this character? Maybe using the special style menu is a nice way to do that.
Yeah. And then the other big new thing is this heat system. Mm-hmm. And this is, it kind of helps people of all levels or whatever, but it is something that I think, I think it'll be interesting to see what more pro players and stuff do with it too.
Yeah.
And so this is a blue bar that's under your health bar. And the rage art is back as well. So like if you take a lot of damage and you start glowing red, then you can hit that rage art and just like take out a good chunk of health. So the heat system is sort of similar to that, but not really. So that's you activate it. Well, you can activate it with R1, which will activate that blue bar, and then it just starts burning.
Limited amount of time.
Yeah, you have a limited amount of time to use it. While you're in heat mode, you will do bigger chip damage when people are blocking. So blocking isn't as effective against people in heat mode. There are certain moves that you can only do while you're in heat mode. So it's like you get yourself into heat mode, and then you follow up with these special attacks that are only for heat mode. There are also, in addition to R1, there are also certain specials that just put you into heat mode. So you use this special, you get this good punch in, and you'll see the blue flames kind of coming off of your punch when it's going through, and then if it connects, okay, now you're in heat mode.
Auto activates. It seemed like your speed went up on the character too for combos, but I don't know if that was just. I don't know if that's true.
Maybe
but it
I don't know for
felt
sure.
Like it. Yeah, it felt like your combos became accelerated.
And then, so your heat mode, like if you don't do anything, it'll just burn out.
Yeah.
But if you hit R1 again, there's like a heat finisher.
Yeah.
And that does quite a bit of damage. Not as much as like a rage attack, but it does, more damage than maybe your other specials and stuff. And then that automatically just like that closes out your heat mode right there.
Yeah. So you have to be kind of in the right position. You can't, it's just not auto guaranteed every time, but if you're positionally just about right, you can chain together that R1 if you want.
Yeah.
It makes just like a really cool.
Yeah, that was something that was interesting with the tutorials, because I was in the mind of, oh, okay, I just want to like get the most out of this bar for as long as I have it. But the tutorial was showing me things of like, okay, like you basically just activate heat and then finish off heat as like a combo.
Yeah.
And do a lot of damage. You could do a lot of damage that way as well. So it'd be interesting to see how different people will approach it. And then maybe even with different characters, there'll be better approaches, one way or another. But the thing about that is, once that heat bar is gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't get it back. You don't earn more back by hitting people, or it's like until the next round, you don't have a heat bar anymore. So it's really interesting to see that, and like I said, all of it is really clear in terms of like what your opponent is doing. It's like when you're in heat mode, there's a blue glow. You can see their bar, and so you can kind of figure out how to take advantage of that.
When to use it. Blood was taking advantage of it good. When at some point they let us do verses, so me and Blood squared off, and the timing of his heat mode was a lot more effective than mine. Continuously using it just at the right point, mid-pass, mid-match, to just instantly finish me off over and over again. I was too quick on the trigger. I kept using that heat mode as soon as it was becoming available.
There's another thing that they've got in there called Ghost battles.
Yeah, the
this
AI.
This is crazy.
The AI continues to permeate gaming in more advanced ways.
So it's like, so basically it will learn the kinds of moves and stuff that you do in different contexts. I don't think it does it in like practice, but there are like certain modes that it does it, and then online mode it does it, and it does it per character as well.
Yeah.
And so then you can kind of like challenge your own ghost, or like I said, you can download other people's ghosts or play against CPU ghosts from the developers and stuff like that.
In order to learn your own weaknesses, whatever. I mean, but the thing about this is different from, similar systems. This have been attempted in fighting games in the past, but they're talking about how this time it's like almost real time, like in the round, as however you're performing moves, blocks, whatever you're doing, your ghost is like learning at the same time, and it will be reacting within, a short amount of time. So it worked really pretty well, actually, from what my experience was with it. It was pretty impressive. To the point where, like, in one of these ghost battles, I would just, like, stop blocking altogether and start doing certain movement and this and that. And then I would attack, and, like, there wasn't blocks happening, or if you do a repeated, like, you're always attacking high, the ghost is going to be attacking high. It was pretty finesse, too. And then with that data, right, you can get in the ghost mode, it then actually will give you literal feedback where it's
not in the ghost mode. That's in the replay mode.
Okay, in the replay mode.
Yeah, so that's something I didn't actually mess with that, but they told us about it in the presentation. So there's what they call My Replay and Tips.
Yeah.
And so you can replay a battle, and then it will put up these little tips of feedback of like, okay, this is what you could have done here to have countered this, or this is where you missed an opportunity to do whatever. And then it sounded like you could actually like take those tips and then jump back into the replay.
Yeah.
And follow up on what the tip said.
Right. You could actually, it was a really cool thing actually where you're able to, so you can have a certain, you'll play out your round of fighting and then the AI tutor will give you these certain points where it could give you advice of like, if you would have done this at this specific moment here, it could have maybe led to this, blah, blah, blah. And so then it lets you jump back to these moments within your round repeatedly as much as you want so that then you can attempt to pull off like these alternate choices of what you could have done, how you could have reacted, and so in order to teach you. So it's like, it seems like it works pretty well. Time will tell if it becomes a repetitive thing, how robust it really is, but at first glance it seemed like it was working pretty well. You know?
What else is in there? There is Tekken Ball. Tekken Ball is back. I played a couple rounds of Tekken Ball.
Yeah.
It takes a minute to get used to that because you don't you can't if you're both like it's sort of like a volleyball thing in the sand, but you're hitting a beach ball around. And so if you get close enough to the line, you can't cross the line, but if you get close enough, you can hit your opponent, but that doesn't damage. The damage is all on the ball. So it's like you punch the ball and then it goes to the other side.
Yeah.
And if it connects with them, then it'll do damage. But then they could also like time their attack to hit it back. So it's like, again, like volleyball in a way.
If you're blocking, the ball will bounce away from you.
Yeah.
If you can hit it at the right moment with a move or set or whatever, you'll increase the built-up stored damage in the ball, and it goes back and forth until someone misses a block or a move, and then it unleashes however much stored damage to apply to the opponent's hit points. So
16 stages. Destruction is back. We saw some wall damage. We saw this one where
I was excited
multiple
about.
levels of the floor.
So old school Mortal Kombat style, where you're blasting opponents through a floor to another arena below or whatever, blasting them through a wall to some kind of arena, a section of the arena that's set to the side. And they tell you on the menu, you're looking at the menu, they'll let you know which stages include which kinds of destruction. And then stage destruction as well, which isn't, it wasn't uniformly across every single stage, which I would say was like, I wish it would have been, but still cool that it's there.
Yeah.
That was fun.
And then, as we said, there's 32 characters. We messed around with a bunch of them towards the end.
Yeah, we were just swapping out.
But in terms of new-ish, I think Raven's been around before, but I think he's been gone, right?
Oh, okay, maybe. I know. Well, was he in the last?
I don't know. Either that or he's
definitely been there
from
before.
The ground up.
Yeah, a lot of the characters have like quite a new look. Everyone knows Paul's hair. So I had to give the hair a spin. But,
and we both played as Azucena a bit.
Yeah.
But just to shout out Raven, I was really digging the Naruto vibes with the shadow clones and stuff like that, especially his rage attack where they summons this huge circle of shadow clones that come down and beat the guy.
Oh, that was insane. Yeah, Blood used that on me. That was way over the spectacle in this game is just constantly like peak.
And you can similarly use one of you can you do the like replacement jutsu kind of thing. I don't know if you noticed that, where like I would do this and like teleport back when you're attacking.
Kenshi style. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to, a few new, they had 3 new characters, I believe, but Azucena.
Azucena is the coffee queen.
She's from Peru. Yes. Yeah, obsessed with coffee. She's an MMA fighter, super fast, and I gravitated to her a lot.
Really nice grabs and throws with her too,
a little ground and pound. So I really liked her out of the new characters a lot,
Yeah. And then last, thing on paper to get out of the way, there is a demo that will be up just days after this video.
Yep.
December 14th on PS5, then a week later on Xbox and PC.
Yep.
So you'll get to test this stuff out for yourself soon.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts, Dom, before we close this thing out?
I don't think so. It just felt good. It felt fun to be played Tekken again. I was a fan way back in the day, and I've always kept up with them a little bit casually the last few volumes. But it looks excellent. And check out that demo. Nothing better than a demo, so that you know for sure, is this for me? But from what I saw, I was very impressed. I had a ton of fun. So.
Yeah. So check out the demo. Check out the interview that we're putting up at the same time as this, so you can get some things out of the developers' mouths themselves. And thank you for checking us out. We're Easy Allies. We are supported by viewers just like you. Go to patreon.com/Easy Allies to pitch in, and we will see you soon.
You won't see this coming. nothing personal.